Hello and welcome back to FiddleUP. I'm Emerald Ray, and today we're going to be talking about a multi-style approach versus picking one style. And this is something that's individual for every person, even though there's only two there's only two choices here, but there's many choices within those two choices. So sometimes people ask me, what is the pros and cons of picking one style and sticking with one style? So for instance, if you love Irish music and you only want to play Irish music, or you love old time music and you only want to play that, versus trying to pick a little from there and to pick a little from here. Obviously, as you may have noticed in FiddleUP, we have a lot of different stuff going on here, and I highly encourage everybody to try everything because, you never know. I feel like having a wide ear palette and a wide, fiddle palette is always a good thing. But I also am a firm believer that it's a good idea to focus on, for extended periods of time on one style. But you don't have to, those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. So in terms of if you were going to pick one style and really just focus on that style, the benefits would be that you really get immersed and really get steeped in that style, and you get sort of more time to explore that world, that culture. You're going to be sort of more, all your muscles are going to be totally primed for that style of technique. So if you're interested in doing something like competing, if you want to go do old time fiddle competitions, if you want to go do the Irish flaws, if you want to do Scottish fiddle competitions, I would really just put your blinders on and really focus on that for a while until that, you gain the fluency. It's like learning a language, it's like focusing on one language rather than five, So, if you really, want to go and do a Scottish fiddle competition, I would just, really focus for a while until you get past the competition, or until, you reach a point where you feel like, okay, I feel very comfortable in this realm. And it's a great thing to do, and it's not something that you will lose, and you can always leave it and come back to it. It's not really something that you have to, again, be, you don't have to pick one for life. But I do think that focusing on one thing, give yourself a deadline and say, this is going to be, it could be a New Year's resolution. You could say, this is my year of old time fiddle. And I'm only going to play old time fiddle this year, and just go totally down that rabbit hole and just stay down there. I think that's a great thing to do, because you really, really give your mind and your fingers a chance to really focus on that one thing and really get a much deeper understanding of how that style works when you're just in total immersion mode there. But then on the other hand, only doing one thing, then you're only going to be good at Irish fiddle. You know what I mean? You're not going to have the depth of understanding of the other fiddle styles if you stuck with that forever. So you'll often see, people who are professional players will be great at that one thing, but also be able to play a few tunes on the sly, you know, and that's a good way to do it. I think it's good to have a focus for sure, but you don't want to have those blinders on forever. You want to have a good understanding of how the other styles of fiddle music work and how they all work together and what the history of all of them are. I think is very good to know, because then you get a wider understanding of the fiddle in general. A lot of these styles are just kind of the same thing but backwards. I mean, it's not so much straight up like that in the fiddle music, but if you look at all the dance styles, Irish dancing versus Scottish step dancing, and which, Cape Breton step dancing and Scottish step dancing are basically the same thing. And old time dancing is very like Shadows old style. It's like I always say all the dance steps are the same but backwards. So it's kind of the same. The same but in a different order with the fiddle. So yeah, in terms of, both have benefits, in the multi-style approach. If you just want to really just say, I don't like boxes, I just want to pick from here, pick from there. The pros of that is you can just be as ADD as you want to be, and just, which we all appreciate, and just say, oh, I want to learn this Swedish tune today. I want to learn this. And, it feels kind of free. And some people like that level of freedom, and they don't want to be, stuck down, and don't want to feel too committed to anything. And, there's nothing wrong with that. So the pros are, you can just relax. You don't have to, you can just focus on getting a wide palette and taking things from here and things from there. Cons would be, very similar. Your focus is very diverted onto a whole bunch of things, and you're not going to necessarily get a deeper understanding. And you're not going to necessarily be tapped into the culture of the music as well. And that's probably something we should cover in this, because that's something that I think that people don't think enough about when they're getting into playing a style of fiddle music. They don't necessarily think about how does this group, if you're coming in from a different place, if you're coming to Irish music, and you maybe have some Irish heritage, but you don't have any near relatives from Ireland, or, and you kind of, it's a bit distant. Or if you're not Irish at all and you're coming into Irish music, for example, it's a good way to get into the music, to get into the culture and understand how the people from that place, how they think, what they eat, what they, what they like to do. And, it just gives you a wider understanding of why the music is the way it is. And so it takes you out of this, very microscopic approach to the music. I feel like, when you're just studying the music, and you don't have sort of a concept of the music's function in the society where it came from. I don't know, maybe that's super nerdy, but I think it's really important. I think if you're really gonna go all in with a style of music, you should spend as much time in that place as possible. If you're gonna study Indian music, you would go to India, you know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing. So as much as fiddle music tends to be everywhere, and it's good to go back to the motherland for sure, wherever the motherland is for that style of music, and really get a handle on, what is this music about in terms of, how it affects the people that play it, and how it functions in their life. So that is what I have to say about all that. I'm sure it's all things that you've thought about before, but I just wanted to make a quick video about it because that's a question I get pretty often. And so, it's probably clear as mud because I'm telling you to do both things. But at least you know where I stand on the matter. And I hope this is helpful, and I will see you in the next video.